Hey everyone, Shane the Nurse here. So I'm taking a break from my boat project, one of my boat projects anyway, and I'm going to show you a trailer that I'm working on. So you might notice I'm a little less furry. First time I shaved in 6 months. I'm not liking it. But anyway, building a trailer, I have a little geo tracker that I drive around, and everyone laughs because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3" and 300 pounds, and everyone laughs at me when I show up in my little Barbie Jeep, as they call it. But the reality is, that thing is fun to drive, and it has a ton of room. It's 4-wheel drive, lightweight, 2,500 pounds roughly. But you can't carry anything in there. If I've got 3 passengers with me, 4 people in there, there's not enough room for luggage. So I want to build a trailer, and I had a spare parts tracker, and I thought I'm going to take the parts tracker, take off all the useful parts, which I did. I've got them all nice and secured and labeled, etc. And I'm going to make a trailer out of the tracker, and I've seen a few of those online, and they look pretty good. And I thought, I'm going to make one, and I'm going to tell people how to make their own tracker trailer, or sidekick trailer, however you choose to look at that. I mean, they're made by Suzuki. They're the sidekick. In Canada, we got the Asuna Sunrunner. I'm sure there's a few other names, Vitara. But it's super simple to take these apart and make these trailers. Now the bonus is the person I bought this from had already taken out the engine and a lot of the components that were under the hood. There wasn't really a lot for me to take out there. And what was there was, it was garbage. So I took my tracker body, figured out where I wanted to make some cuts, and initially I thought I was going to cut it. I cut it just ahead of the seat mount, and there's a bar that runs right across the whole front. In fact, I can show you here in just a second, because I have a toolbox that would fit there, and I thought to myself, this would be great. I'll take the hood, I'll use that as the front piece, and it'll be behind this toolbox. But when I had it all together and I was looking at where the axle was compared to where the tongue was, and the weight that was going to be put on the tongue rather than on the axle, I just didn't think it was safe, so I forced myself to get rid of that, and I cut that off. Putting this together is really not that hard. It's more of a process, following a certain sequence of events to get this done and to do it safely. So let's go take a look. So here's the tracker trailer. It's sitting out in the beautiful southwestern sun here. You can see it's all nice and faded paint. Anything I didn't need, I took it off. And I still have all these trim pieces, so I know there's a few diehard people going, oh my gosh, he cut up a tracker. Yeah, I did, but I kept all the pieces because, well, there's my other tracker over there, and I need some of the pieces for that. So I've got the tailgate. My initial thought was for the front, up on here, was to run a tailgate off of a Blazer, just like that one over there. Was to put the tailgate in, and then I'd have a tonneau covering the whole thing, and it would be nice and secure. And then I woke up because that's a ton of work to do that. We're talking some serious body mods, and it's just more than I want to put into this particular project. And that's not to say that it couldn't be done. It could be done. It's really not that hard on the grand scheme of things. It's just more than I wanted to do. But it would have been cool, because then I could have had a tailgate that folded down back here, one that folded down up front, and then I could lay in this thing, because like I said, I'm a big guy, I don't fit. So I took off everything I didn't need, and right now I'm still in the fabrication here. I'm still working on this, so it's not done. Don't get excited. I still have the spare tire mount. I have the tail lights. I took the bumper off. I don't need the bumper. The tailgate works just fine. Need to do the lights. And interestingly, the state I live in, I have to have a title for this. I can't just go, oh look, I made this, because I'm going to get down to DMV for the inspection, and they're going to be like, oh, where's the title for this? Aha. So make sure you have the title for your tracker that's registered to you, because in the state I am in, I have to go and have it converted from vehicle to trailer. And when I told them I was going to do this, and the lady at DMV was not real happy with me, but don't really care. You know, we're going to do things right, because if I move to another state, I want to be able to take it with me. Okay, so what I did, you can see here, took out that evil floor deadening stuff. It's a real pain to get the little bits off. I found carb cleaner works really good for getting the adhesive off. Better really than anything else I tried. I tried paint stripper. Each of those little valleys there got a different treatment, and I found that the carb cleaner worked the best. So let's get to where we cut, because that's what everybody wants to know. Okay, so let me grab this other piece here so I can show you what I'm talking about when it comes to where to cut. So this, you see how it's got this nice bar here, and it was great because there's another piece that's supposed to be here that you attach seats to, and that was great for putting that toolbox on. Problem is, look at where that is. It actually would come to this point here. There's a line. I'm not sure you can see that line. That's where that came to, and you know, there's not a whole lot left for making that angle, making that tongue, and to do it safely. So I got excited. I cut this off, fling it away, but I made a boo-boo. Because I'm using the hood for this front piece, and I have what I did, I cut a little notch in here. You can see that really good. Cut a little notch in there, and I've trimmed this piece back so that I could screw the hood in. So the hood recesses into here, sits up here, and then it's got the nice arc that goes across. What I should have done right here was from this point to here, cut that at 13 inches. Alright, because when I put it on, well, guess what? I'm like 4 inches too short here. So it means I have to go and clean this all up real pretty, weld a piece on. I mean, I already had to weld a piece in for the hole where I cut out for the transmission hump. But that's okay. I can deal. I got skills and a welder. Well, I have a buddy that welds. I have a welder. I did do this weld up here just so I could keep it together, so I could get all my angles and make sure that I could do the rest of the work. So let's talk about where to cut. Okay, so you have right up here, can't see it of course because I cut it off, is the front body mount. Right, this is up right up at the front doors. You're going to measure from where the body mount is. That's where you cut. Cut it flush here with the body mount, and then from here to here, you're looking at 36 inches. Okay. So after you've measured 36 inches on both sides, because they are identical on both sides, I made sure I measured all the way back to the bar supports there and the rear body mounts. 36 inches, mark the whole frame tube all the way around. Okay. And then from here, from this point here, mark up 7/8 of an inch. And then you're going to cut an angle back to here. So straight across, 7/8, cut the angle out. And then you're able to bend it, and it takes it to the right degrees for the for your tongue. Right? This right there is my Harbor Freight Special. And the tongue mount is also from Harbor Freight. You know, so I think I got, aside from buying the initial tracker, which I paid $300 for parts, I got that back on the first part I pulled off of it to use on my other tracker. So I've got about $50 into this right now, and some time. It's gonna be a little bit more time. Actually, it's gonna be a lot more time, but I'll get it done. It'll be pretty, and it'll do what I want it to do. Okay. So measure that, make your cuts, and to line them all up, drop a bolt into these holes. You know, just a long bolt, something that'll sit in there, and use clamps to clamp it together to bring everything together so you can make this connection right here. Drop your weld on there, and then you're good. You can work on the rest of this. Okay. You're going to cut off in here. Right here was the transmission cross member mounts. Just cut those off. There's a tube that runs across here. Just cut that out. And then right here in these corners, I'm going to put a gusset in there with a crossbar to really stiffen it up, because there really is nothing until you get here. So there's really not a lot of strength here yet. Okay. Now, removing this body, super simple. So what I did, I'd cut this, you know, this is the piece, this was a convertible. So I cut this piece about here because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Cut that off, cut the body off. You know, I took the doors off, the fenders, the hood, anything that I could salvage, I took it off. The rest went to the scrapyard. The brakes, I took the brakes apart completely because, one, I don't need them. I mean, seriously, if this is all compressed into one small space, I could pick it up. Yeah, I've pulled the body off and put it back on by myself. It's not that hard. Well, this is a two-wheel drive tracker. TracKick, Vitara, Sunrunner, whatever. So I'm going to have to change the springs out a little bit so I can get a little bit lift. I'm probably going to have to add some body, a body lift to it, so I can get up a little bit higher for a little more clearance. But I kept the axle. All right, and the reason I kept the original axle is because, one, it's a pain in the hiney to try and find an axle that's that width. It's going to have the right bolt pattern, because I want to keep the same bolt pattern, because I'm going to have these two tires plus a spare on the back, probably going to drop a spare on the front, and I've got the spare on the other tracker. It's that hole in the fender, that's I'm putting the snorkel in. So if I'm out wheeling and I blow a tire, okay, I got a spare on my drive tracker. But this way I've got a spare, two spares on the trailer. So worst case, I run out of 3 tires, I'm still driving everything home. And if I run out of 5 tires, I blow 5 tires. Doesn't matter, I have 5 tires to spare. You know, I can just drop the trailer out and wherever it is and go get it later. Chances are, though, if I'm blowing 5 tires out on the trail, it's not a good trail to be on. All right, I took the fuel tank off, disposed of that properly. It is all full of rust. I don't know how long this thing had been sitting. I mean, I've had it for 3 years. It's been sitting in my carport for 3 years before I started working on it. But I kept the skid plates and some other things because I want to put a water tank back in there. Doesn't sound like much. 12 gallons of water is really not a lot of water. But when you live in the desert, 12 gallons of water is a lot of water, buddy. Especially when you don't have any. So one mistake I made, well, one of the many mistakes I made doing this, was when I cut this, yes, I made it level here. This is all level. But I didn't adjust the angle of the saw, so this angle's in towards the interior. Not such a big deal. It creates more of a pain in the hiney than I really wanted, but not such a big deal. So again, the hood goes in the front, and then the hood latch from the front end is going to get welded in here just to give it a little extra strength in this area. These spots here, I'm going to cut this, clean it up, weld it down here, and that's going to let me have some storage along here. Same thing over here. I'll cut this bar out, make it all pretty like, and then I'll have storage in there, seal it all around, and hopefully it'll be fun to go off-road with this. Now, I did think of putting in a rotating hitch up front here, but a couple things prevented that. One, they're fairly expensive, and I'm fairly cheap. That's not to say that if I was doing it again, I wouldn't do it. It's just right for this particular trailer, and I'll probably make another one because I can get these things all day long down here. But for this particular trailer, I wanted to do it as cheap as possible with parts that were available at your local Harbor Freight or O'Reilly's, Walmart even. You can get all these parts at Walmart so far. And use simple tools. So far, all the tools I've used to build this are, whatever sockets I've needed to pull parts off. I used a cutoff wheel on my circular saw to make some, because I want nice straight cuts. Used a grinder and a sawzall, with a nice long metal blade to make some cuts, and that's it. That's really all I've done so far. I haven't used any freaky weird specialty tools aside from the welder, but everybody knows somebody with a welder, or they can get a welder, or they can weld themselves, so it's not the weirdest thing. Now, I will say for the initial cut for me, I went straight down. I just followed this line here, straight down here, and that seems to work out really good for the hood. And then, like I said, I would just have extended it out to 13 inches there, and that's going to let me fold it up a little bit so I have something to weld to, or rivet to, or screw to, or however someone wants to do it. So ultimately, when I'm done, there's going to be some fiberglass on this. I build the cover when I build this. So I've got my hood, I've got the arc of the hood, the arc of the latch. I'll hunt down another one, maybe build an arc back here, build an arc back here over the tailgate, or I might just leave it the way it is, because the way I'm going to have it is this piece up here is going to fold over to this way, so I can be off the ground and sleep on top. So we'll see how it goes. My wife gets all upset because I do all this stuff and I forget to make videos because I just get into the project. But I thought this is a good place to stop, make a little video, and then come back and show you all what it looks like as it progresses. So she was showing you guys, hey, this is where I screwed up, don't make this mistake. I want to get everything off that I can. I'm probably going to drop Monster Liner on this, just because I like the colors, and they have a color that actually matches my current tracker. And since they have a color that matches, why not match? And then I don't have to try and repaint or do something else. Yeah, technology, gotta love it. And that's where we're at. So as it progresses, I'll take some more shots if there's something weird, some special angle, something that's unique. Then I will make a video of how that's done. I'll do it, take it apart, redo it for you guys if it's something I think is going to be difficult for someone to understand. But for the most part, this has so far been a very simple project. The whole body comes off very simply off these things. I was really amazed at how easy it was to get everything apart. And once you've cut this off here, you got 4 bolts at the back to take it off, take it off, and then clean everything under there. You know, you saw that axle's just covered in grease. I just haven't cleaned it up yet, because that's not where I'm at. Pretty soon though, because once I've made the gusset and the crossbar to go in the frame, I'm going to take that body off, do all my body work on there, whether it's fiberglass, steel, welding, what have you. I'll get that done, and then go from there. Anyways, so the next video should have everything put together, I hope. Yeah, every time I turn around there's another project I have to finish right now. I had to do siding on 3 of my outbuildings, which turned into a particular nightmare because I couldn't do X until I did Y, but I couldn't do Y until I did J. So anyway, I can get back on projects that are actually fun for me. And so I've got the tractor trailer project, I've got the Chrysler Charger boat project going, and from my daughter and her friend, a pair of 13-year-olds, we're building 2 wooden boats. Nice thing is they're going to be identical, so it won't be that hard. Sure. And I still have to fiberglass the boat I built last year, my single John boat design. Anyways, that's all I've got for right now. Any questions, any comments, feel free. Otherwise, have a great day.